plotter, pantser, and plancer. Find out which one I am and what you may be coming up. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Riley K. Jones. I'm a writer, teacher, and author tuber. And if you haven't already, click subscribe and ring that notification bell for more videos on all things writing. Today we're going to talk about some writing lingo. And if you've been on authortube for a while, or even just the writing scene, you may have heard these terms before. Plotter, pantser, and plancer. Writing is a unique process to each individual, and these three terms describe what kind of a writer you are. First, we're going to talk about plotters. Plotters are my outliners out there, and these kinds of writers will map out their entire story using the beat sheet or the 3-act structure from start to finish before they actually write the book. Sometimes these plotters, these writers will map out each individual scene or chapter, or they may just know the basic plot beats of the plot line, including the inciting incident, the break into two, midpoint turn, etc. And plotters come in all shapes and sizes. Some will go more in depth than others, but these types of writers all know beforehand what story they are going to write. A famous author who is a plotter is J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling maps out her novels in such detail that she even knows all the multiple subplots that are happening and what specific item or reference they are given at the same time. If you want to learn more about J.K. Rowling's writing process, you can check out my girl Kate Kavanaugh's channel, as she wrote for J.K. Rowling like a day. Link is in the description down below. Secondly, we'll look at our pantsers. Pantsers are discovery writers. These type of writers will write by the seat of their pants, hence the term pantsers. They may have the premise to their book, or maybe a certain character that they want to discover with, and maybe they even have a few of the plot points in mind, like maybe the midpoint turn or the reveal, but they can't really know the rest of the project until they write the novel. Many of these writers will do what they call a zero draft or a fast draft, where they'll have the bare bones of the novel written out in one go. Then when they go back into editing, they give the novel some meat, some muscle, some skin. They're fleshing out the rest of the novel. And yes, this is a weird anatomy metaphor, but you understand where I'm coming from, I hope. Pantsers really develop and blossom in the editing phase. An author and authortuber who is a pantser is Alexa Dunn. She uses little to no outlining, but she does follow the beats and the beat structures as she works and writes her novel. Link for her channel is also down below. Now let's talk about some of the dangers of both being a plotter and a pantser. A danger plotters might face is that they focus so much on writing the outline and perfecting it that they don't actually get around to writing the novel. They have a wonderful outline and an actually really cool story, but if you never write the thing, no one can read the thing. Because let's face it, no one wants to read an outline. A danger many pantsers might face is writing pointless scenes, but this can always be fixed in editing. And the best thing that you can do is write the novel. You can always come back and fix it later. And that advice is really to anyone out there writing a novel: write it first. Allie Carter is an author who wrote the book Dear Allie, a writing craft video, and she gives this advice over and over again. First drafts are not meant to be perfect, they just need to exist. So you just need to have that thing written in order to make it even better. Now the moment that you've all been waiting for, and the reason why you clicked this video. Which one am I? Well, I'm both. And this is where we get into the plancer thing. Someone who is a little bit of both is called a plancer, and I used to be a pantser, where I would come up with a premise or maybe a single plot twist and premise, and I would just get so excited to just write the thing and figure out who my characters are and just get it done, that I would write a chapter, pause, and then try to figure out what the next point of the story would be. And then eventually I would kind of figure out, oh yeah, and then there's this character and that character, and oh, this cool thing could happen, and then that cool thing can happen. And then I would try to figure out what the next chapter would be, then just to lead up to that plot twist or midpoint turn or whatever that I thought about. And yes, it sounds very similar to like a fan fiction style, and yes, I wrote fan fiction back in the day, but who hasn't? Oftentimes I'd find these chapters and scenes were always lacking a purpose. They're almost kind of like a one-shot kind of thing, or maybe there was like a 2 chapters that really connected together well, but it didn't connect the entire story very well. They didn't really have the punch and the build-up that I was looking for. I also found myself repeating the same kind of conversations or events, but just reimagined. So the story was never really progressing. It was just a different version of these events. One novel that I was writing back in the day, the characters would always eat either lunch or dinner together, and the same 3 things were happening. One set of characters were always having a food fight. There was talk about the mystery of the novel, and then one character was always bullying this other character. And it was like very boring to read. But then I discovered the Save the Cat beat sheet and the 3-act structure. But more on that on another day. Using these structures to outline my novel first, or at least most of my novel first, has improved my writing greatly to make sure that I know what was coming and make sure that scene, interaction, and chapter counted for the bigger picture of the actual story itself. That isn't to say that I don't sell pants. I normally have only a few of the bigger points plotted out. Typically that is the beginning and end, and the middle is kind of very bare bones plotting, especially in that Act 2 in the fun and game section, as I write a lot of mysteries and thrillers where that investigation process is happening. I kind of have a general idea, but I don't really know how it's all going to play together. And even as I'm writing my book, I'll typically get through halfway and be like, whoa, mind blown, light bulb, I have an awesome idea. Let me go back and weave that idea in to help the book feel more real and stronger. Because as I get to know my characters, I get to know the rest of my story even better. And remember, friends, characters drive your story. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already for more writing craft content, and ring that bell for notifications. And let me know down below, what kind of writer are you? Are you a plotter, a pantser, or like me, a little bit of both, a plantser? That's all for today's video. Again, thank you for watching, and keep writing and stay creative.